Have you ever wondered why the relationships that hurt the most are often the hardest to walk away from? Why chaos can feel like passion, and why your body still reacts long after the relationships end? What if what we call relationship drama is actually trauma? Hey there, and welcome to Beyond Survival, a Pathway to Peace. I'm your host, Naomi Stanchfield. If you're living with the effects of trauma or PTSD, you're in the right place. I know what it's like to live in survival mode, always waiting for the next shoe to drop. For years, I searched for peace, for a way to feel safe in my own body again. That search became the foundation of the work I do today as a trauma-informed coach. This podcast is here to support you as you begin your own journey towards a calmer, more peaceful life. Each week, we'll explore real tools, heartfelt conversations, and simple practices to help you heal, one step at a time. You don't have to walk this path alone. Let's take it together. I have learned sometimes in the hardest ways possible that what we call love can also be the place where our deepest wounds surface. This week, we are exploring something that so many of us have felt but rarely named: relationship trauma and the intersection where love meets pain. If you have been following this 6-week series into relationships, love, and connection, you know that we've talked about self-love, attachment styles, and love language, the ways we understand, give, and receive connection. Think of these as the 3 pillars of a healthy relationship. Self-love creates internal safety. Attachment styles reveal our emotional blueprints, and love languages show how we give and receive care. But what happens when those same systems, safety, connection, and care, become the very places where we experience threat or harm? That's where this conversation begins. Now, before we go deeper, let's ground together. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it and give a gentle exhale through your mouth. Let your shoulders drop and unclench your jaw. You are safe to be here, just as you are, listening, learning, and breathing. Now, let's start by redefining what we mean when we are talking about relationship trauma. Usually, people use the word drama. Drama sounds messy, chaotic, and emotional. Something you should be able to control if only you were calmer, wiser, and stronger. But the truth is, what we often call drama, the arguments, the emotional highs and lows, that exhausting push and pull, is often not personality at all. It's biology. It's the nervous system reacting to what feels like danger. When our internal alarm system senses threat, even emotional threat, our brain flips that switch from logic to survival. We lash out, we shut down, we cling, or we detach. These aren't character flaws, they're survival responses. And that's the essence of relationship trauma. It's not about being too sensitive. It's about being overwhelmed by an experience that feels unsafe to the body and the nervous system. A healthy relationship is meant to be a safe harbor, a place we can regulate and rest through connection. But trauma happens when that harbor becomes a storm, when the person we took for comfort becomes the one we fear. When the foundation of trust breaks, the brain reads it as danger. So instead of asking, what's wrong with this relationship? Or why is there so much drama? I invite you to ask, what happened to the safety here? That question changes everything. It shifts the focus from blame to understanding, from shame to healing. Let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Feel your body grounding beneath you. You're not broken for how you responded. You were surviving something that felt unsafe. Now, to heal relationship trauma, we have to understand why it hurts so much. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains develop what's called the social engagement system, a built in mechanism designed to keep us connected to others. For most of human history, being alone meant danger or even death. Connection equaled survival. That is why our brain will prioritize attachment over safety. Even when connection is harmful, our biology tries to hold on. We make excuses. We minimize pain. We go numb. Because our body believes that losing the bond is more dangerous than losing ourselves. This is why trauma bonded relationships are so powerful. The body isn't bonding to love, it's bonding to survive. And heartbreak, it's not just emotional. Studies actually show that the same regions of the brain that register physical pain also process social rejection and betrayal. That's why heartache can literally hurt. It's not in your head, it's in your body. When we weave attachment styles and love languages into this, we see how the perfect storm can form. Imagine an anxious partner who fears abandonment, paired with an avoidant partner who fears being engulfed. One clings for safety, the other runs for air. Together, they recreate a cycle that mirrors trauma itself: push, pull, chaos, and collapse. For the anxious person, distance feels like danger. For the avoidant, closeness feels like suffocation. It's not personal, it's protective. Then we have the fawn response, the tendency to people please or self abandon to maintain peace. Maybe you felt that quiet panic that says, if I just love harder, if I just don't upset them, things will be okay. That's not weakness. That's a trauma response, a nervous system trying to keep you safe through appeasement. Even love languages, as beautiful as they are, can be used as hooks. Words of affirmation can be weaponized as love bombing, a flood of praise that feels intoxicating at first but manipulative later. And physical touch can deepen emotional dependence through oxytocin, the bonding hormone, even when your mind knows you're not safe. Your body doesn't distinguish healthy from unhealthy attachment. It simply recognizes connection, and that's what it holds on to. Relationship trauma doesn't just come from overt conflict, though. Sometimes it's quiet pain. You have betrayal trauma through infidelity, lies, or financial secrets. This can leave a rupture in your reality. You no longer know what's real or who you can trust. Then we have emotional neglect. The cold silence, dismissive tone, the empty presence, it can hurt as deeply as overt abuse. Our nervous system reads emotional absence as threat, as abandonment. And then gaslighting, that's the slow erosion of your trust in yourself. Over time, you stop believing your own feelings. You stop trusting your memory until you begin to question everything, especially your own worth. That's what trauma does. It fractures trust, not just between people, but within yourself. One of the deepest truths in trauma recovery is this: the past amplifies the present. Many of us fall into what I call the familiarity trap. Our bodies are always searching for what feels known, not necessarily what's safe. If chaos was normal in childhood, chaos will feel like chemistry in adulthood. That means toxic relationships can actually feel like home. They feel intense, familiar, and magnetic, but not because they're healthy. They're familiar because they mirror our early survival experiences. Then there's a compulsive repetition. That's the internal drive to fix the old wound by reliving it in a new relationship, hoping maybe this time it'll end differently. But instead, it reopens the wound deeper than before. When a present betrayal touches that old pain, your body reacts as if it's happening all over again. This is what's called an emotional flashback. It's not just sadness or anxiety, it's your body remembering what your mind forgot how to feel safe through. You're not overreacting, you're reliving until that energy is seen, validated, and released. So, how do we begin to heal? How do we reintegrate self love after our sense of safety has been shattered? The first step is always regulation. When you feel flooded, when your thoughts spiral, come back to your body. Breathe, ground, notice your sensations, and remind yourself, I am safe in this moment. You're not calming your feelings away. You're helping your body remember that you are not in danger anymore. From there, healing becomes an act of reparenting. Forgive yourself for staying too long or for not seeing it sooner. You weren't naive, you were loyal. You were wired for connection. Then we learn trauma-informed boundaries. We go in depth about boundaries in week 6 of this series, so be sure to tune in for a deeper dive. But with boundaries, no becomes a sacred word, not a weapon, but a declaration of safety. Boundaries are not walls, they're bridges between honesty and peace. They say, I'm allowed to protect my own nervous system. And eventually, healing brings post-traumatic growth. You stop trying to erase your story, and instead you expand from it. You start recognizing the signs earlier, you regulate faster, you align your love with peace. Healing doesn't mean you'll never get triggered again. It means you'll know how to bring yourself home when you do. As we close today, I want to leave you with a gentle reflection. In my past relationships, was I choosing what was healthy or what was familiar? Sit with that question this week. Be curious, not critical, because awareness is always the first act of healing. And if this episode spoke to you, I recommend revisiting the earlier episodes on self-love, attachment, and love languages. Together, they form the foundation of real embodied healing. And next week, we'll be diving into communication and conflict resolution. What healthy communication really looks like in relationships, and how to navigate conflict from a regulated, grounded place instead of a triggered one. We'll talk about how to express your needs without fear, how to truly hear your partner, and how to repair connection when things get hard. Until then, breathe deeply, rest often, and remember, you are worthy of love that does not hurt. Thank you so much for joining me today on Beyond Survival, A Pathway to Peace. I'm so grateful to walk alongside you on this journey. Remember, healing isn't about perfection. It's about returning to yourself one small step at a time. Every time you show up for yourself like this, you're building something beautiful, a life beyond trauma. Healing is a journey, and every step, no matter how small, is meaningful. Be gentle with yourself along the way, and remember, you don't have to do it alone. If you're finding things especially hard right now, please don't hesitate to reach out for professional support. You don't have to do this alone. Help is out there, and healing is possible. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone on their own path. Also, if you found value in today's episode, I invite you to connect with me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Beyond Survival Pathway. There, you'll find more insights, encouragement, and community support. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you'll be with us for the next part of the journey. And consider joining our Facebook book club, Beyond Survival, Healing Through Stories. It's a welcoming place to explore transformation through shared stories and connect with others on the path to healing. Until next time, Keep putting one foot in front of the other. You're not walking alone, and the path to peace is unfolding with every step. Let's keep walking this journey together. Take care, and I'll meet you back here soon.